Today I'm going to explain to you how to find the equation of a line passing through a point and parallel to a different line. Uh, also, I'll be doing perpendicular as well. So the first example, it's parallel lines. So I noticed from my experience that a lot of students don't understand what's asked in this question. So there are two parts to this question. The first part is the equation 3x minus 5y equals 9. What I need to find from this equation is the slope. So to find the slope, I need to solve this for y to change it to the format y equals mx plus b, because in this equation we know m is the slope. And to do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to move the 3x to the other side. So I have negative 5y equal negative 3x plus 9. And then divide both sides by negative 5. And therefore, y equals 3 over 5x minus 9 over 5. And what I really need from this equation is this part right here, which is the slope. As we know, parallel lines have the same slope. And as far as this equation is concerned, and this question, I'm done with it. All I need to know is this here that I'm going to carry to this part of the question. I know now m equals 3 over 5. And now I'm going to answer the question. So now I'm trying to find the equation that passes through this line, through this point, and parallel to this line. Again, all I needed from this line is the slope right here. So now the question now changes to find the equation of a line that passes, that if I might say, that passes through negative 6 and 5, and the slope 3 over 5. So that's what the equation becomes after you've done this work. So to find that equation, you go y equals mx plus b. So this is my x and y value, and this is my m. So all I need to do, just sub in these numbers in this equation to solve for b, which is the y-intercept. And therefore 5 equals 3 over 5 times negative 6 plus b. 5 equals negative 18 over 5 plus b. 5 plus 18 over 5 equals b. And we're going to do a common denominator. The common denominator, I'm just going to carry this to here. The common denominator is 5. 5 divided by 1 is 5 times 5 is 25. Plus 5 divided by 5 is 1 times 18 is 18. Equals b. 25 plus 18 is 43 over 5 equals b. And therefore the answer would be y equals 3/5 x plus 43/5. The next thing I will do is finding the equation of a line passing through a point and perpendicular to another line. So the question that I'm gonna do now is find the equation of a line passing through the point 3 and -4 and perpendicular to the line 8x plus 6y equals 15. So in these kind of questions, what I do, I just draw a line right in the middle or 1/3 of the way. And we have to understand there are two parts to this question. Okay, one part that is giving me an equation of a line that already exists, and we know the equation of that line. The only thing I need from this line is the slope. So I'll take this on the side here, 8x plus 6y equals 15. Solve this for y, so I have 6y equals -8x plus 15. Divide both sides by 6. And therefore y equals, I reduce this to -4/3x. And this reduces to 5/2. You don't really need this information, but what you need is this slope right here. So as far as this thing goes, that's all we need from it. It's done. We needed the slope. See you later, that equation. So I'm gonna take the slope of that line, which is -4/3. Okay, just make sure that you see that negative. And therefore, the slope of the perpendicular line would be the negative reciprocal. So that's gonna switch to plus, and we're gonna flip and be 3/4. That's the slope of the perpendicular line. So again, this question becomes find the equation of a line that passes a line. Let me just rephrase this. With slope of 3/4 passes through 3 and -4. So therefore, my answer would be y equals 3/4 x plus b, and then I sub in the x and y value to solve for b. So therefore 4 equals 3/4 times 3 plus b. That gives me 4 equals 9/4. You know, any of you who struggle with fractions, when you multiply a number into a fraction, you only multiply it to the top. You don't multiply it to the bottom. Plus b, and then I minus the 9/4 from the other side equals b. That's over 1. So we got to do a common denominator, which gives me 16 minus 9/4, which equals 7/4. And that's what b equals. Sorry, that's 7/4 there. Okay. And therefore, my equation is y equals 3/4 x plus 7/4. over 4. Again, I'm just going to go through some of the important stuff here. This equation here that's given, the only thing that you need from it is the slope. And you solve it for y to find out what the slope is. After that, the perpendicular line that they're asking you about will have a slope that's the negative reciprocal to that. And therefore, the question becomes find the equation of the line or of a line with slope of 3/4 and passing through 3 and -4. And then you just do this to find the rest of the equation. Oops, sorry, I made a mistake there. So that was a -4 right here. So I'm just going to fix that really quick. That's a -4. That's a -4. So that would become -16. -16 minus 9 is -25. So that would be -25. Oops, let me just erase that and make it a little bit nicer. Equals -25 over 4, which is the b that we're looking for, and now you just put it back into the equation. That's why it's always a good idea to go back and check your steps. You know, it's very easy to forget a sign or so basically that's what you do to find out what the equation is of the perpendicular line. Just know that there are two parts to the question. The first part is with this equation only needing the slope from that equation, and then the question becomes very simple after that. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to change this equation to general form. Okay, so I'm just going to erase and I'm going to take this equation here, y equals 3/4 x minus 25 over 4, and basically change to general form. So to change to general form, this equation, all you need to do in general form, let me just tell you what general form is. General form is expressed as ax plus by plus c equals 0. And that's basically another way of expressing a linear equation or the equation of a straight line. To change this to this form, just know when we write it in this form, the coefficient of x always have to be positive. Doesn't matter with the y, but the coefficient of the x must be positive. All right. So to change this to general form, the first thing I need to do is multiply everything by 4, because in general form we cannot have fractions. So 4 times y is going to be 4y equals 4 times 3/4 x, it's just going to be 3x minus 4 times 25 over 4, just going to be 25. Okay, so basically when you multiply by 4, it eliminates the bottoms right here, because you know, if you multiply the 4 to the top, as I said earlier, you multiply the number. When you multiply a fraction by a number, you just multiply it to the top. So if you multiply it here, you get 12 over 4, and 12 over 4 gives you 3. So we just know it eliminates the 4 on the bottom there. All right, and then since that coefficient of x here is positive, then what you need to do, move this to the other side. If this was negative, then you have to move everything in here to the left side, so the x becomes positive, because in general form, the coefficient of x always have to be positive. Okay, so if I move the 4y to the other side, then I'm going to be left with 0 on the left side, and I'm just going to write it in the order that is there. So it would be 3x, and moving the 4y to the other side would change the sign to minus 4y. And I have the minus 25. And that's how you change to general form.